Item: SCP-1616. Code name: Nibbles. Object Class: Keter. Special Containment Procedures: SCP-1616 is contained in a ventilated 60 x 30 x 30 cm cage lined with small grates on the bottom for waste materials. The area containing the cage is to be monitored at all times for possible breaches in the integrity of the wall of the cage, and should be kept lit as dimly as possible. In the case of containment breach, a hatch is to be released connected to the feeding grate at the bottom of SCP-1616's cage, releasing it into an identical cage beneath. A backup cage should be kept ready at all times. Sustenance is placed in the cage automatically in daily intervals by means of a small feeding chute. This chute should be readjusted in the case of a minor breach of the cage. At no time is SCP-1616 allowed to view photographs or illustrations. As of Testing Event 1616-T3, no testing subjects with tattoos are permitted to enter the area. Description: SCP-1616 is a common hamster with no genetic abnormalities. The subject behaves as a normal hamster would. Anomalous properties of SCP-1616 present themselves when SCP-1616 begins feeding. One or both of SCP-1616's cheeks will expand, containing an object previously seen by SCP-1616. If the object in question is inorganic, SCP-1616 will remove the object from its mouth and ignore it. Similar feeding has been observed for most organic materials save for wood, which SCP-1616 will not completely consume, but return to and nibble like a common hamster would for dental upkeep. SCP-1616 typically consumes organic matter which appears in its cheek over a course of time if possible. SCP-1616 has been observed producing carrots, hamster feed, candy, and substantial amounts of flesh from its cheeks. SCP-1616's cheeks will expand to accommodate any matter it produces, in one case expanding to accommodate for the size of one baby elephant weighing 105 kilograms. SCP-1616 does not suffer any trauma from the expansion, as the tissue appears to maintain density and composition as it expands. SCP-1616's jaw will retract and expand to remove an object from its mouth. If the object in question is unable to be moved by SCP-1616's power alone, it will usually be emancipated by SCP-1616 moving backwards away from the object. If SCP-1616 lacks the ability to move away from the subject due to lack of traction, it will simply retract its jaw and regurgitate it, pushing itself away. As assumed, SCP-1616 has difficulties consuming a still living object depending on its size. In the case of biological matter emancipated from organic subjects, nervous tissue seems to respond as if it were still in the host body. Subjects report feeling pain as if it were happening under normal circumstances and nervous tissue was not disconnected at all, suggesting a sort of connection between the inside of SCP-1616's mouth and the host subject. Due to its nature, it is recommended SCP-1616 not be exposed to any photographs or illustrations, especially those considered dangerous. It is not confirmed whether or not SCP-1616's feeding process will be harmful or successful to SCP-1616 with hazardous objects. SCP-1616 will emancipate small portions of matter from the cell wall, or its entirety at any given time. This occurrence is more likely if the object is disturbed. Test log 1616-T6. Dr. Breen. Place SCP-1616's cage onto the main testing table and release the lever. D-10293 releases the latch on SCP-1616's cage. SCP-1616 leaves the cage and onto the table. D-10293. Okay. Hey, he's kinda cute. Dr. Breen. Continue observing SCP-1616 until instructed otherwise. D-10293. Can I pet him? Dr. Breen. I don't see why not. D-10293 picks up SCP-1616 and begins stroking its head. D-10293 later sets SCP-1616 down and begins observing. No abnormal activity for 12 minutes. D-10293. Doc, this thing is really cute and all, but can I just leave now? Dr. Breen. No abnormal activity for 20 minutes. SCP-1616 is now moving back and forth along the length of the table. SCP-1616 pauses and sits on its rear. Its left cheek appears to expand 3 times in size. D-10293 begins screaming loudly. D-10293's eye begins receding into the optical cavity. D-10293. What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh my god. D-10293 begins crying and banging on the door to the containment cell. D-10293. Get it the fuck away from me, get it, oh fuck please, why? D-10293's left eye is gone at this point. SCP-1616's jaw appears to retract and expand. SCP-1616 is observed pulling the respective eye out of its cheek, cleaning it, and nibbling on it for a few moments before placing it back in its mouth. An optic nerve is also visible attached to the eye and leading into SCP-1616's mouth.